Let's discuss. Hey everyone, it's Rachel back again with another video, and today I will be checking out a new track from The Browning called Poison. I found this band through the channel. Actually, I'm pretty sure I have an older video from when I did hear them for the first time, but since then, Keem, Hardcore Keem, who a lot of you, probably most of you already know who that is. I absolutely love Keem. We've done a few collabs. I had him on the channel earlier this year for an episode of Let's Discuss. I cannot speak highly enough about Keem, so I'm very stoked to see him involved in this project and to see where the band has gone. They've signed to Fixed now, which you love to see. That is a label who has reached out to me, and I've been meaning to get to more stuff on their channel. So this is going to be my introduction, really getting into Fixed as a label as well. Signing the Browning is a huge green flag for me. So I will link the video that's on the Browning's channel in the description of this video for this new single I'll be checking out, as well as all of the band's social media, promotional links, any sort of merch I can find. All of that will be in the description of this video. Other than that, I'm going to stop talking and we are going to get straight into it. So cool to see Keem up there. Ooh, with the synth all up in there. Oh. Oh, those layered vocals. Good Lord. I refuse to consume. Oh. The Browning, Poison, Let's Discuss. I like what I've heard from The Browning, which would be their discography at this point. Prior to this song, it's not ever been a band that I have regularly on the rotation, but this track will go straight into the playlist for me. On, first listen, this is easily my favorite thing that they have done. I like the inclusion of the electronics and stuff that they have in their sound, but for me this is like it that's still present in this. In the breakdown I mentioned, you know, those electronics that you can hear, they're lighter in this song than I really associate with the sound of this band. They're still present, they still play a big role in the track. It doesn't have to be like overly done or, you know, a main character type part in the song for it to play a big role or to add a lot to the song, but having it come over and that feel of the Browning still be in the breakdown portion of the song, I love to see that, because, you know, at the same time as this feels different, they've got some lineup changes. Keem is in the band, which also made me extremely happy to see. It's obviously been a minute since that's been announced and stuff. He's played shows with them, but having them release a track, seeing the music video and stuff, it's just very exciting. And this sounds, it's aggressive as hell. You know, they do heavy in their music. It's nothing new for them, but this track from beginning to end worked for me, where there's some disconnect for me in certain other songs I've checked out for them, or sometimes looking at a full release. The drums sound immaculate on this, whereas with their discography, it's not been a huge part of what stuck out to me. This, not the drumming itself, but really, like, you know, the drums just sound very, I don't want to use main character again, but they just sound clean as hell. Very present in the track. It's what I'm looking for, I think, if there were something I would have wanted changed in their discography prior to this song, this would 100% be it, and not even have been something I really would have expected necessarily, with the heaviness turned all the way up through and through on the track. Those layered vocals I had mentioned sound phenomenal. Everyone is just on point. There are some big riff moments in this track as well. The breakdown has got to be like the big moment for me, the biggest attraction for me. It's everything this song laid down, built up to, and they certainly delivered on it. Sometimes when it comes in swinging off the bat, you'll get a breakdown that doesn't really feel like it does justice to the lead up, you know, the build to the breakdown, but this, not the case at all. The lead, you know, the anticipation that's felt, because you're like, if this is how heavy it already is, if they, you know, choose, sometimes a band will take the route where the entire thing is heavy and they don't necessarily have that point it builds to, but this feels like it does, and I was not let down. Everything about this just sounds very polished, very much the ideal situation for a release from the Browning, and has me massively excited to see what they will continue to do with this lineup, with, you know, the direction that they're going in now. This is the combination for me that is peak, and probably has me anticipating their new releases the most from them. Of course, not just because Keem is in the band. This sound that's the one for me. The way so I mentioned the big, you know, breakdown moment, but there's a spot around the 1 minute mark where you get that synth that comes in, and it just sounds so good having that melody back there when it's, you know, you have those kind of broken up parts that follow it that just kind of emphasize the heaviness at the same time as they're bringing in those Browning electronic elements that I think a lot of people will expect going into a new release from them. So I don't want to run in circles or anything. I think being this happy with the release for a band that I've liked but haven't really clicked into in terms of regular listening on my rotation, this will probably have me going back and picking out my favorite tracks from their discography to put on the playlist. So it may help click a few things into place that, you know, it's never been a matter really of like, oh, that track did not land with me. It's more so certain parts of songs when they go into kind of the opposite side of their sound with the electronics, some of the rapping style and such. It's not always a win over for me, but I think it's not written off either. It's not that I don't enjoy it. It just doesn't flow very well for me in some of the songs in the discography, and I think that could be lack of listening enough to, because I don't listen. I've talked on the channel. There's not a ton of stuff I listen to that's just electronic. So it's not something that's often on my radar and such. So I think just some of the influences that they take from outside of, you know, deathcore, metalcore sounds, it's maybe something like I don't listen to a lot of stuff that involves that, and so it's not really my taste and stuff. But even the ones that I didn't love so much on first listen, I feel the more I listened to them, the more it did kind of click in. It's just nothing I've ever listened to enough to have like a, oh yeah, I've listened to this album 20 times, here are my full thoughts on it. It's more like revisiting maybe once a year or something since I found the band. I think it was 2020 when I did my first video for the Browning, very early on in my channel. 2020 is when I started doing this. So those are really my thoughts on first listen. There's nothing I would want to see different. I'm getting a lot of songs lately where I'm like, this is perfect. The Callous Dow Boys just released a single to me that I would want nothing different from. Invent Animate released a whole album and an additional title track that I would want nothing different from. While there are still, of course, songs that aren't hitting the mark for me the way some of this stuff is, this will be one that is ideal for the band's release for me, something that I'm listening to a whole bunch coming up. If I had to predict it, I'm very happy with this. Let me know what you thought in the comments. I'm not gonna, make something up that I would have wanted differently. This just has that energy. It has, some highlights from the sound that you're expecting from the Browning, but takes shape in a much different form, at least in my opinion. So let me know whether you would agree, disagree in the comments, what you thought of the song. I will link, like I mentioned before, the music video I used in the reaction portion of this, all of the band's social media promotional links, if they have any merch available right now, all of that will be in the description of this video. Make sure if you enjoyed the song, the video, go leave a comment on the Brownings channel with the original upload, help them out with the algorithm and all that sort of stuff. It does help with comments and likes and all of that stuff. So give the Browning a shout out if you enjoyed this. You can also find my link tree in the description. That will have my Patreon, my Twitch channel, the Discord server invite link. Any link related to my channel that you may need will be in that link tree in the description. On Patreon, I offer many different things. We're doing voting in all tiers right now for to make up a list of, as a whole, the Patreon's favorite albums, EPs, breakdowns, riffs, choruses, all that stuff for 2023. We're getting a move on it now, so we have an idea, polls to reflect on before we get to December and make up that final list. I make playlists and update them every month for Tier 3, 20 to 25 songs per update, based on whatever you tell me you want the playlist to be for fans of and stuff. Trying to find stuff that's not so popular that maybe you haven't heard before, putting it on the playlist. There are a bunch of different things that I offer on there. If you want to check them out, they're all listed out in the tiers. Twitch is where I do all my live streaming now. Music-related streams, I do a request stream every week. I'm going to be doing some additional streams to talk about shows I've been going to. I have a bunch of categories laid out with playlists to match up with them, to go through some category type streams that I've set up, but various music related stuff. If you want to be notified when I go live and see what I'm doing over on there, feel free to give that Twitch link a follow in the link tree, and the Discord servers where the community is based for my YouTube channel. We've got a bunch of music lovers in there talking about music, talking about stuff completely unrelated as well. So if you want to come join, check that out. That will be there. As always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.